Prince Andrew to be stripped of his royal title. Andrew, the scandal-scarred younger brother of King Charles III, will be stripped of his title as prince, an unusual punishment, unheard of in the annals of contemporary British royal family, that caps his fall from favor over his ties to the convicted sexual predator Giuffre Epstein. In a statement on Thursday, Buckingham Palace said it had launched a legal procedure to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. The prince, it claimed, will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the family name of members of the House of Windsor. The palace also claimed that Andrew, 65, will be removed from his vast residence, royal lodge, and transferred to a private house. The announcement, in a terse 3-paragraph statement, came after Britain's royal family was plunged into a widening crisis over new disclosures about the extent of Andrew's links to Mr. Epstein and more damning details about his alleged sexual abuse of a young woman trafficked to him by Mr. Epstein. Andrew has persistently disputed that he raped a woman, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, but concerns about his explanation of his friendship with Mr. Epstein, as well as nasty allegations of his sexual misconduct in a newly published memoir by Ms. Giuffre, made his position in the royal family increasingly unsustainable. Ms. Giuffre died by herself in Australia last April. Mr. Epstein died, also by suicide, in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking accusations. Some British legislators had called on Parliament to take action against Andrew or to pass legislation that would make it easier for the king to do so. The administration has resisted getting involved, reflecting an ancient precedent of the Crown and Parliament staying out of each other's business. But the drumbeat of disclosures was making it harder to avoid taking more concrete action against Andrew. Last week, Andrew declared he will give up the use of his other most recognized title, the Duke of York. His title as a prince, the palace stated at the time, was predicated on his being the son of a monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. On Thursday, palace sources claimed the monarch was sending royal warrants to the Lord Chancellor requesting that he remove both the titles of Duke of York and Prince, as well as the superlative His Royal Highness, from the peerage roll, which sets forth royal and aristocratic titles in Britain. The palace stated this would not require an act of Parliament, as some legal experts believed last week. Charles, palace sources said, was pushing the boundaries of his royal prerogative because he did not want Parliament to spend time on this problem at the expense of other critical national issues. Not since King Edward VIII abdicated the throne in 1936 over his projected marriage to a divorced American lady, Wallis Simpson, has the royal family witnessed such a rapid and visible devaluation of one of most senior members. When Prince Harry and his American-born wife Meghan announced in 2020 that they would resign from formal duties and move to the United States, he remained a prince, and the pair remained a Duke and Duchess of Sussex, titles conferred on them by the Queen when they married. Palace sources also indicated that Andrew would move to a home on the grounds of Sandringham, a royal residence in Norfolk, northeast of London, which is held directly by Charles. The monarch, they added, will support Andrew using his private funds. Andrew's former wife, Sarah Ferguson, who had lived with him at Royal Lodge, will receive no further support from the family, sources added. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him, the palace stated in a statement. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been, and will remain with, the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. For all the censure, officials declared Andrew did not lose his place in the line of succession to the throne. He is ninth. But they underlined that, just as in the case of Edward VIII, Britain would never allow an unsuitable person to become ruler. Andrew's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, will keep their titles. Palace officials said the decision to move against Andrew had been made by Charles personally in reaction to what he considered as major breaches of judgment on his brother's part. They stated the monarch was backed by other members of the family, including Prince William, his oldest son, and the successor to the throne. Experts on the royal family claimed Charles was acting partially out of fear that the constant scandal over Andrew was sapping public support for the monarchy. In 2023, a study of British social attitudes by the National Center for Social Research indicated that 54% of individuals asked believe it was very or quite important for Britain to have a monarchy, compared with 86% in 1983. Andrew's ties to Mr. Epstein had tormented him for more than a decade, costing him his job as a trade envoy for Britain. But his issues increased in 2019 after he gave a catastrophic interview to the BBC. In it, he denied having sex with Ms. Giuffre and stated that he cut off contact with Mr. Epstein in 2010. British press have revealed that Andrew sent a sympathetic email to Mr. Epstein a year later. The severe public outcry following the BBC interview caused Andrew to quit from official activities in 2019. But his issues continued rising. After a judge allowed a lawsuit filed by Ms. Giuffre against Andrew to go ahead in 2022, he lost his honorary military titles and usage of the appellation His Royal Highness. Andrew resolved the litigation with Ms. Giuffre later that year, without admitting fault, and his mother helped fund the hidden sum. But once the Queen died in September 2022, his position became increasingly isolated. The abandonment of his lease to the Royal Lodge became one of the last sticking points in sealing his separation. When the palace stripped Andrew the use of the title Duke of York this month, authorities indicated he would no longer be invited to the family's Christmas celebration, typically held at Sandringham. Now, he will live in internal exile with the title of a commoner in a house on the grounds of the castle where the rest of his family gathers.